Hello, everyone. Time for a brand new episode of Rekieta Retardation. Today, we will be speculating the recent speculation on the meaning behind Rekieta's iconic tattoo, "I will be us." Right? Like, we've known for a long time that this has some deep personal meaning to him, and we don't necessarily know what that means necessarily. There has been a lot of speculation about this. Like, this has been like a common subject of discussion ever since the topic came up. But "I will be us" seems to be a thing that Rekieta has with his wife, right? The thing seems to be like the expression seems to be symbolic of their relationship. And and for the longest time, like, nobody knows what that means. It seems like nonsense. Like, "I will be us." But I think with recent circumstances, with recent evidence presented by Aaron Eimholtz of the Steel Toe Morning Show, with some of the things we've been seeing from behind the scenes and what we've been hearing about Kayla and some of the like the deep lore dives, I have seen a really good theory posited by some rando and Kiwi farms in regard to this situation, right? Uh, Kayla does not believe that she's a good wife or mother, right? This Kiwi Farms post really goes into like great detail about this, about how Kayla has these like really deep rooted insecurities about her ability to provide and her relationship with Nick and with the kids and stuff like that. And this seems to stem from like the conversation she had with Nick on stream when he interviewed her in 2019, in which she talked a little bit about her feelings about Nick and their relationship and what they do for each other. And the thing that she emphasized a lot is that Nick is willing to step up when she's not willing or able to do something, right? So Nick is the one who is the provider of the family, right? And of course, like, I think at the time people didn't really think anything of it, but what we're seeing now, I think, is an extremely toxic, twisted version of that mindset, right? In order to like maintain their relationship, in order to like stay married in spite of all their personal problems, right? They are essentially in this weird like parasocial relationship, right? In which, Kayla is just kind of there. She just kind of sits around, zoinked out on pills, right? She doesn't do anything around the house. She doesn't take care of the kids. We know this because of Aaron Imholt's testimony, in which he stated that he is going over to their house and he's making the kids food. He is making them SpaghettiOs because both the parents are somehow unavailable near constantly, right? So you have Kayla, who is apparently sitting around all the time on pills, watching Star Trek, according to Nick. And you have Nick himself, who's just sitting in his basement streaming there constantly, right? He's drinking constantly. Like, there are all these indications that Nick is just avoiding all of his parental responsibilities. Like, both of them are. But what seems to be happening really is that like Kayla and Nick are very desperately trying to maintain their own like brand of normalcy, right? They think that by acting, by shirking all of their adult responsibilities, by pawning them off on other people, by doing fun things and like doing whatever they want, they can kind of relive their youth, right? They can kind of like enjoy each other's company and be satisfied with that. It's really it's really a bizarre situation when you look at it. When you look at just how this situation is developing, because like, I don't know what to make of this really. It's one of those crazy things where there's all this really weird like signs of parental abuse and neglect and just just being complete degenerates, but we don't know exactly what's going on. What is the exact meaning of "I will be us"? Like it just feels almost as if like we're right on the verge of uncovering like the truth regarding the situation, like the truth about Rekieta's relationship with his wife and what's been going on behind the scenes and that kind of situation. Like we have hints of it, right? We have an idea of what's going on, right? We know Nick has distanced himself from people in his family. We know he and his wife are now like doing whatever they want. We know that like kids are struggling in school and like Rekieta is constantly complaining about his schedule problems, and like the nanny left, and April is living with them apparently, and like there just seems to be a lot going on right now, and I haven't necessarily pieced it all together yet. Like it's just one of those situations where um there isn't going to be any clear indication of what's going on until somebody figures it out. Somebody does like the Sherlock Holmes investigation and pieces it all together. And I do think it's going to be someone from the Kiwi Farms community at this point, because the detective work I've seen from those guys has been like phenomenal in regards to the situation. I'm not sure if I've done a good enough job like explaining it, because they really did a good job like breaking down like what's been going on lately and Nick and Kayla's behavior over the past couple of years and recent happenings and current situations. Like, again, it feels like we're on the verge of like something unbelievably crazy happening, right? At the very least, Rekieta's going back to court. Like he has to defend April from her traffic violations or whatever. Like again, that's going to be an epic L. Like I 100% agree with Kino Casino on this one. Like I do think April is going to straight up get the death penalty because of Nick's incompetence. Right? Like I do I do pledge myself to that theory. Well, okay, like that's an exaggeration, but like I do think 100% she is going to get fucked, and it is going to be Nick's fault. And like again, the Imholtz, the Steel Toe Morning Show people, they are as big of a degenerate, or perhaps worse, than Nick himself is. So it's very possible that like their oncoming divorce is going to like really shake things up in the Rekieta household. Like the fact that April and Kayla seem to be so close. Like, what if Kayla like sees April going through this divorce and then finally decides it's time to leave Nick? I predicted earlier this year that this would be the year in which Caleb leaves Nick, and we'll have to see if that pans out. But uh, yeah, to me, um, it's been very evident for a long time that like Nick and Kayla are like desperately trying to keep their relationship together, right? Um, on Nick's side of things, it doesn't feel like he's genuinely in love with her. Like he kind of takes her for granted and he kind of wishes she would just fuck off. Right? Like I've seen him like ramble, like lusting after other women, insisting that like, oh, the lucky guy isn't married. The lucky guy is the guy who signs a prenup contract with a girl who agrees to give you like 700 blowjobs and then like go away forever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't say things like that. You don't lust after Mandy when you're happily married to another woman, Like, well, actually, like a real woman, because Amanda was not actually a real girl. But like, you know what I mean, right? Does Rekieta act like he's in a happy relationship and a happy family? Like, no. Like, it's clear that his behavior and perhaps his wife's is making everyone around him miserable. Like, not just the immediate family, right? Like, you have the extended family, Kayla's relative. You have the church. You have like friend groups. Law too. I was alienated by him, right? Like, and I imagine I'm not the only one by that. I'm not the only one who could come out and like confirm that like the way he's been acting has like creeped me out. Like I've gotten word recently that like the Flashcast guys have all like declared that they're gonna quit drinking. Now they didn't say why because all of them are like grifters. Looking at you, Flash. They didn't say why, but we all know why. Because Rekieta has destroyed his life by drinking near constantly and refusing to take responsibility for anything. Um, oh yeah, one last thing. I'm curious if Rekieta actually paid his taxes this year. Because usually he does like a libertarian stream where he like does his taxes on stream and complains about how he has to pay like I don't know like 40,000 in income taxes or whatever. Like, he does that usually, but this year, it looks like with his behavior and how like erratic he is, and how willing he is to like not follow the rules. Like, is it possible that he's so far gone that he hasn't actually paid his taxes? Because that's the thing that like has crossed my mind several times. I don't know if I've said this on stream, if I said this in a video, or whatever. I might have in passing, but I do think the thing that is going to fuck Rekieta over is going to be tax related because I have seen him like do a couple of things that are like really shady. Like taking out the PPP loan to like buy a massage chair, right? Even though he was like already in the process of phasing out his business during uh during 2020, right? Like we've seen him like take all this money for people. Like, is it possible he's not reporting on his taxes accurately? Is he trying to be sleazy with it, right? Like, again, I don't know how likely that is. It seems like something he would do to me personally, and I haven't seen anyone else bring that up, but I do think it's very very possible that Rekieta's like next big step is going to try to like fuck with the IRS. Like the Joker's not crazy enough to tackle the IRS, but Rekieta is. So, well, I don't see that going over well for Nick. You know, like I do think that looking too closely at his financials is going to like have them be asking a lot of questions in regards to like the business and how he's been conducting things and whether he's been filing properly or whatever. Like we'll have to see if that pans out. But yeah, there is a lot of mystery in the air regarding like the Rekieta household, and I really hope that we clear up the situation very, very soon.